Okay, Assalamualaikum. Good morning, everyone. Today we will be discussing our second topic for our poetry, which is racism. My name is NAZURAH. My matrix number is 204164. Next is AIDIL.
Hi everyone, my name is AIDIL ASHRAF bin BADARUDDIN. I'm second year student and my matric number is 204167.
Next is SURAYA.
Hi everyone, my name is SURAYA BINTI SULAIMAN and my matric number is 204114.
Next, AIM.
Hi everyone, my name is MIMIE. My metric number is 197237.
Mira.
Hi, my name is MIMIE SHAMEERA and my metric number is 203996.
And finally, HISHAM.
Hi everyone, I'm HISHAM and my matrix number is 196981. Currently taking Bachelor of Science Dietetics in third year.
Okay, so that's all of our group members. We will start our poem recital with group 1 with the title of The Things We Say. Can we have Achap to start reciting the poem?
Yes, sure. Title of the thing we say. They say we practice one for all and all for one. But when the people speak up for inequality, it always, I'm sorry, there is nothing that can be done. They say in Malaysia, we are united like three in one. Yet, when we open up for discussion, it always end up undone. They say education is for all where everything is provided. Yet, the racial quotas remain the same, undecided.
They say our country stood tall, strong and united. Yet the slightest trigger from the media leave us divided. They say kita semua satu Malaysia. Yet the people are still saying slurs like, "Ew, itu barang Cina." They say for peace, our unity must never sway. Yet when an Indian sit next to you scoot away.
What's this? A Malay offended? Good, it was all intended. Perhaps our decades of peace made us gone weak. Have you forgotten that racism is rooted generations down deep? Till the seeds of injustice are fully tweaked, till then I shall speak. So, this is a very short poem from Group 1, and we were talking about the racism issues in Malaysia because, as we all know, in Malaysia we have three major races: the Malay, the Indian, the Chinese, and we also have Bumi Putras from Sabah Sarawak. So, for the first three stanza, can Achap explain about what he thinks, the meaning behind the first three stanzas?
Okay, I will explain a little bit about the first stanza. Okay, we we always heard that everyone said that we are Malaysian, so we need to united. We need to do together. But end up we always Malay with Malay, Chinese with Chinese, and Indian with Indian. So we need to overcome so that we can united like Malaysian that we here. That's all from me.
What about Mira? What are your thoughts about the three middle stanzas, or maybe your thoughts on the overall poem?
First, let me describe briefly about the stanza that I've read earlier. Okay, for the three stanza that I said, our country stood tall, and then I mentioned how actually we are not comfortable. Some of us are still not comfortable with other races. Like the last line of my part, it said, "Yet when an Indian sit next to you, you scoot away." This doesn't need any further explanation. We can observe it. For example, simplest in LRT, MRT, or public transport. People will just like, if there's any other seat, they will go to other seat. Okay, because the mindset, people mindset. We thought that now there's no such thing of racism, like racism. Indian, Chinese, Malay are all same, but the reality is we still are living in that kind of mindset. Okay, and then for overall poem, I think that it actually tell us the reality happening in Malaysia, not what the media always say. Media always picture us as a very united society, very peaceful country. I mean, yes, we are peaceful, but in terms of mindset and psychological interaction, we are not there yet. Okay, we still have certain perception, certain perception for each races. Like we have this certain perception to Chinese, certain perception to Indian, and this certain perception to Malaysian. It's not just Malaysian to Indian, Malaysian to Chinese, but it's also what Chinese feel towards Malay, towards Malay, what Indian feels towards Chinese. Okay, each races actually have like deep inside they are still not comfortable. They still doesn't think Chinese or Indian or Malay as a part of their family. They still have this distinct boundaries between these races. So yes, this poem actually picture the real thing that happening right now. And of course, we are still working on to improve the racism mindset of Malaysian. So yeah, that's what I think overall.
That's a very good opinion from Mira. I agree, because we all still have some barriers between us races, like there's still some uncomfortableness, and I think we should work more on that. And then for the last three stanzas, can Achap scroll down a little? Okay, so for the last three part, for the poem I wrote, this part is, what's this? A Malay offended. Good, it was all intended. I wrote this because, mainly because us Malays are very, very comfortable in our skin. Like, we are the, apa ni? In Malaysia, we are the majority. Like, we are not the minority. And we don't really feel the discrimination because we are among the larger population. Unlike those Indians and Chinese, they are the minorities. So sometimes we do things that we thought are okay, but it's actually not okay. For example, we say like, you sini tak basuh kencing, and many more, I think, or like Indian busuk, and of course the common one, Melayu malas. Those things are the thing that we have been taught to say by the generations before us and by the generations that is us. And I think that that common practice needs to be fixed. And the second part is, perhaps our decades of peace made us gone weak. Have you forgotten that racism is rooted generations down deep? Like I said before, racism is rooted generations down deep. The generations before us and before them and before them. Even after our independence, perhaps after decades of independence, we are still weak in terms of practicing unity. And finally, till the seeds of injustice are fully tweaked, till then I shall speak. This is very important because us younger generations are now very, very vocal about the things that we believe in. And I think that's a good thing for starters. And perhaps by often speaking up about racism issues, perhaps we can fix it and make Malaysia a better place, I hope. What do you think, Suraya, about the poem? Do you have like any favorite parts, or what do you think?
Okay. Firstly, I think this poem is quite good because of the words used and the message is very straightforward, and I can understand this poem easily. Secondly, I think this poem is quite related to the racism issue in our country. Basically, it's all about mindset, like Mimi talked before. Uh, People mindset, they be like, I cannot make friend with people from different races. I cannot associating with people from different religions. So sometimes I think that negative mindset can lead someone to being a racist. That's all from me.
Okay, thank you, Suraya. What about Aim? Do you have any opinion on the poem? Perhaps any favorite parts?
I love this poem because the words used are simple and direct, so it can easily understand by all generation, even the oldies, the kids can read this. And I love the part that they say kita semua satu Malaysia, but people still saying slurs like you to orang Cina because it's really related with Malaysia nowadays. If you have Facebook and you go to comment section, you can find a lot of people argue and provoke each other with racist issue and stuff. And as you guys know that the oldies always say in this, if they see accident and they say macam Melayu ke Cina? If Melayu, then they will help. If China, then they will leave. So I think that's the racism thing that we all did. And what the use of we celebrate 64 independence if we cannot resolve this issue. I think that's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Aim. That was a very good point. I agree with the Facebook thing. I think people on Facebook are very, very toxic, especially the older generations. I have no idea why they are always fighting. Anyway, moving on to Hisham, what do you think about the poem? What are your most favorite parts or least, or maybe your opinion in general?
So overall, I think the thing that I really like about this poem is that the end of every sentence is the same, and it is not something that is easy for us to be it is not easy to be done. For example, one, done, and then provided, undecided, and that's really hard to find that kind of words. And then I really like when you are touching about the ethnocentrisms that's still going around in Malaysia, because like they say kita satu Malaysia, yet the people are still saying slurs like you itu barang Cina. So like based on my experience, right? I'm not trying to compare between Peninsula Malaysia and Sabah and Sarawak, but I'm from Sabah. So the thing that I really realize when I go to Peninsula Malaysia is that there's like Chinese in one group, and Malay in one group, and Indian in one group. And we can see the differences between that. And then when you are coming to Sabah, right, you will see the Malay. Malay is really not the majority in Sabah. Most of us are Bumiputra Sabah, and Chinese and Indians are really sitting in one group actually. Like we never talk about this kind of racism issues. And I still remember when I go back to Semenanjung, Peninsula Malaysia, when my Malay friends, when we're doing some kind of test like the blood test, when we are trying to figure out our cholesterol level, and then one of my Chinese friends said to me like, Hisham, why do you think that like, why do you think my cholesterol level is very high? And then one of my Malay friends saying that because you makan babi lah. And I was really, really shocked when she said the kind of things like, wow, that's so straightforward and you shouldn't say that. So it's the common sense of saying something like, yeah, that's just based on my experience. That's why I really like these poems, because you really focus in Malaysia. And yeah, the reality is still need to be shown so that we realize that the racism is still a thing in Malaysia. Yeah, that's my opinion.
That's a very good opinion. I've heard from some of my friends that the situation about racism in Semenanjung, Malaysia and Sabah, Sarawak is quite different. Like here in Semenanjung, it's quite very obvious sometimes, especially in main cities like Selangor and Kuala Lumpur, because here in Terengganu,
Peninsula, it's almost like normal.
Yeah.
It's really normal.
Yes. because like apa ni, in Pantai Timur area like Kelantan, Terengganu, we don't really have that much of Indian or Chinese. But if we do, then the Indian Chinese would be speaking full in Terengganu or Kelantan dialect.
Yeah.
So yeah, in Selangor it's quite more obvious in my opinion.
Yeah, very obvious.
Okay, so
Like Nazura say before, until now we still have barrier between other races. So what we need to do is we need to teach our generation, our own generation, so that after this issue can be done, we can overcome it. Thank you.
I agree. So I think as a conclusion for our discussion today about this poem, we all agree that the racism issue in Malaysia is still needs to be fixed. Even after years and years and decades of independence, we are still struggling with this issue. Therefore, I hope that with this poem, we can preach out to the people, perhaps let them read this and let them reflect upon themselves. Are they being a good Malaysian? Or are they just being a good Malay? Or are they just being a good Chinese? Or are they just being a good Indian? So I hope that one day if we all grow up, let's say if some of us end up as educators, we educate our children, tell them that we are all the same, we're just different fonts of colors. So I guess that's all for today. Thank you everyone for your participation. That's all. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.